Welcome back to the Hoops Temple podcast. For all of you, this may have been a couple of days. For Aaron and I, this has been about 10 minutes. Y'all know me, Nathan Schwartz, joining me from Sacramento, Aaron Schroeder. How's it going?
It's going fantastic, about the same as it was 10 minutes ago when we finished the last recording.
We're getting this done. 451 to 475. If y'all know what it is, once again, just for the people out there, we have not ranked these current All-Stars. They just don't fit in at this point in the list. We'll do a current players re-ranking in soon. So
could you read that for the audio listeners?
Yeah, Cade Cunningham, D'Angelo Russell, Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, Jalen Williams, LaMelo Ball, Lauri Markkanen, Paolo Banchero, Scotty Barnes, Tyler Hero, Tyrese Maxey, Victor Wembanyama, and Zion Williamson. They're just players that don't make sense to fit in at this point in the list. Maybe they fit in different places, either higher or lower, or maybe we just don't feel like ranking them just yet due to a games played limitations. We're also recording this potentially before Jalen Williams wins Finals MVP. Who knows what could happen tonight? Maybe that influences the rankings a bit. So, yeah, this won't post till after the finals are done, but just so you guys know where headspaces are at.
That is right. It's a constant moving project. It's a living thing.
Sometimes it's a dying thing, but let's read the top two players on the board for each position. If you are watching on the YouTube, you can see who we've got on the screen. But we've got at point guard, Kevin Porter, not Kevin Porter Jr., or DeJounte Murray. Shooting guard, we got Eddie Johnson and Doug Christie. Small forward, we've got Mikal Bridges and Orlando Woolridge. Power forward, Stu Johnson and Antonio Davis. And centers, Mehmet Okur and Red Rocha.
Or Red Roca, depending on how you're feeling. We really need to figure out how to pronounce that name. Can you hear my dog is going ballistic?
Yeah, I can.
It could be, let's think of things it could be. It could be nothing at all. It could be probably nothing. And it could be maybe one of them barked and the other one just started barking at the other one. It's usually what they're barking at.
You want to know what my dog loves to bark at?
What?
We live by a body of water. And when a bird lands on the body of water, my dog gets very upset at this bird. Any bird.
It feels like a frequent occurrence. It feels like something that happen all the time.
Oh yeah, ducks fucking love water.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we have a pool guy that comes and like makes sure like our chlorine is like, you know,
look at you all
is
fancy.
right. And it's tough to teach like the dogs like, hey, you know, you don't have to. You're safe in this house.
Yeah.
But then also like a stranger breaks it every couple of weeks and just goes in the backyard and announces. You know, I understand why they might be a little worried by that. All right. You want to do Doug Christie instead of Eddie Johnson? Because Doug Christie's an amazing person, a really nice guy, made a bunch of all defensive teams, and is not a sex predator like Eddie Johnson was.
I would not hate doing Doug Christie before Eddie Johnson, but you know, why am I fighting it? We could just go Christie now.
Love it.
You want to give more of the spiel than just he's not a sex predator?
Eddie Doug Christie. Doug parentheses not a sex predator Christie.
Listen, it's an important distinction when that GIMP mask photo starts circulating or him on the GIMP leash. You just gotta.
He's just a little freaky, but he's a very good person. He made 4 straight all defensive teams with Sacramento. He was 4th in DPOY in 2001, 5th in 2005. Pretty impressive as a guard to get that kind of distinction. Over those 4 years, he's playing 37 minutes a night. In 2002, during that classic Western Conference Finals run, he's playing 40 minutes a game. Just so important to some of the most fun, one of some of the most exciting and best teams in the NBA. His versatility and defensive ability and shooting ability really add to what made the Kings offense so special.
Yeah. And I do just want to clarify for the listeners, I'm not shaming anyone that uses the GIMP mask techniques. I just, when we were having the conversation, it felt like we needed to, make sure that we clarify, not sex predator Doug Christie.
You wanted to toss in Eddie Johnson now and just get it over with?
Yep, just so we could stop talking about sex predator. The thing was that he was very good at basketball. And technically the sex predatorness comes in later, but also there was a a lot of drugs that pushed him out of the league or diminished his career. Uh, Fast Eddie, known for both being quick-footed on speed and on the court. And you know what? Sports writers, even the 70s, they had jokes saying that he could outrun his competition faster than he outran his drug charges. Like, that is
It's a good one.
But two-time All-Star, two-time All-Defensive second team, 17 and a half points per game. And also, the defense ran like a full court press and like a high pressure, and he was the lead guard running that. So, like, that is a tricky thing to do. But that's enough talk about Eddie Johnson.
All right, who's your next guy?
Can I get real squirrely?
Sure.
Rudy Gay.
Rudy Gay. Holy shit. That's really squirrely.
I asked you if I could get really squirrely.
Where do I?
One of the things that we talked about in between doing our positional ranks to get out to the 100 for each guy and these rankings was maybe we undervalued longevity. And it just as I was looking at Gay, he for a solid decade averages 20 points per game. It's not good basketball.
No, he doesn't.
19.3.
That's such a lie. Let's see. A solid decade.
From 08 to 2017.
It's 19. Yeah, it's 19.
19.3. Okay. 19.3 points per game for a solid decade. And he makes the playoffs just once. A lot of the teams are very bad, and they get better after he leaves. The Grizzlies traded Gay to Toronto. The last year with Gay, they're 41 wins. The year they trade him, they're 56 wins. Toronto, 34 wins in the year they acquire Gay. The next year they immediately ship him out, and they're up to 48 wins. So, like, there is some Stephon Marbury to him. But, like, we're at 453, and this man averaged close to 20 points per game for an entire decade in the NBA. That's
all right. I think I'm in.
1,000 plus games played, 1,100 games played, like that. He'll fall. Mikal Bridges will rise up, but okay. We've got some other guys who are on the rise. Jared Allen and Miles Turner. DeJounte Murray may bounce back soon. But it's 20 points per game for a decade.
Okay. We'll lock him in. Why is Rudy Gay not higher? Well, he's a pretty good scorer that does nothing else. There's your argument. I'll keep it simple.
Yep. When he gets replaced by Tayshaun Prince, Memphis gets a lot better. Just how it goes. After that, I don't know. I like the last list a lot better than we have this list. I have a couple of things that I really want to make happen. Dale Davis needs to be higher than Antonio Davis.
Really?
They're pretty much
for Dale.
I do. Which means we either need to get just continuously getting more and more squarely, or we need to go on a hella run at centers. I also really like Jameer Nelson, although I do recognize that Orlando makes the finals while he's injured, and he plays a lot smaller run or a lot smaller piece of that 09 run, and where they're really good. Then, looking back, we might remember. Where do you want to go with this? The board is yours.
Man, Dale Davis is so far down there.
He is.
But I think that's probably right. It's at 16 years, 1,100 games, 27 minutes a night. He's another one of the Pacers. I just feel like there's been some better talents to come and go.
I was not suggesting that he needs to be next. Merely suggesting that I want him before Antonio Davis, and so the kind of power forwards list is getting shunted down. Do you want to just do a run at center here?
Yeah, I think it's time. 5 of them in a row.
Yeah. Although I don't quite love our order. Can I propose to you Bob Rule up next?
Sure. Just give me the order. Bob Rule.
I would like to do Bob Rule, Jared Allen, Miles Turner up next.
All right, let's do that.
Do you want to talk about those players at all, or do we want to just type them in? I'm
just going to type them in.
Well, we're talking about them. Bob Rule. He gets hurt 4 games into his 4th season. And up to that point, he was averaging 30 points and 10 boards a year. And over the first 4 years, counting
A
those
year,
4
a
games,
game.
yes, sorry, 30 points and 10 boards.
It was
Because yeah,
4 games, and he was very good. But he was an all-star the year prior at 25 and 10, and has some really nice games against some good teams.
yes, the first 4 years, including that 4-game season, he's 22 points, 10 boards, and he looked like he was going to be the next in the lines of the Wilts, of the Nate Thurmans, of the like elite, really great centers, and then just injuries take him out entirely, and he could never be healthy again. Never makes the playoffs. A career 403 games played, but of all the guys that we've got left on the list, and of all the guys that we've talked about, probably in the last 3 pods that we've ranked guys, he has the highest talent upside. It's You asked me before we started last pod of like, hey, where would you put Zion? Well, Zion and Bob Rule are not too dissimilar from the fact of like elite talent when healthy, never healthy.
Yeah, at least Barbara finished a couple seasons.
Yeah, there were his first couple of years.
This is a expansion Sonic, by the way, 68 to 71. Let's put him in. For Jared Allen, is such a big piece of the Cavs. The way he defends the rim, the way he's their best rebounder. They were a 1 seed this season. They made the playoffs multiple other seasons. He helped the Nets to the playoffs. He has some really good years under his belt at this point.
Yeah. Miles Turner, similarly, we went back and forth in text. I tried to make the argument for Turner to be a little bit higher. He's basically played 1 season more worth of games. I think he's been a little bit more impactful over the course of his career because Allen ramped up a little bit. But Turner, 2-time blocks champion, he's kind of been a big part of unlocking Indiana's offense in this last year or two by developing from being just like a big who can space to also being a big who can put the ball on the floor and drive. I know it's not always the offense that gets Indiana where they need to go, but was it game 3 where he was like 2 for 11 in the finals, but he also contributes 5 blocks. Like Turner finds ways to be a very valuable piece on what is now a finals team, and maybe by the time this releases, we get game 7 and Indiana is an NBA champion. A man can dream, can't he?
Possibly, it's in the cards. He's been so crucial to them. Like his shot blocking is legitimately great. It's interesting. I watch so much Kings basketball that sometimes guys will drive to the rim, and I'm like, why didn't they take that? It's because they have a shot blocker on the team. He gets up there, he puts his hand in the way of the ball. Why doesn't my guy do that? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, why doesn't Domantas Sabonis defend the rim? Who
He's got little
knows?
T-Rex arms. He's got little T-Rex arms. He's been so improved defensively. He still doesn't block shots. That's all right.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Time for point guards? Or you want to keep going with bigs?
I think let's get Kevin Porter in here. He has a bad reputation as kind of a ball stopper. He's out that he doesn't really lead great offenses. He also commits a ton of fouls, and somehow at 6 foot, at just 6 foot. But he wins an assist title 4 times. He also wins the assist title on the 75 Bullets, which is a 60 win team that makes the finals. So there's a really solid contributions to winning in that regard.
I like it. He also gets traded for Dave Bing and a first-round pick.
Dang.
You know, something to be said. Bing is a legendary player for the Pistons, a gentleman, a future mayor of Detroit, and they gave up him and a pick. Kind of worthwhile. How would you feel about DeJounte Murray next? I know it is just the 1 All-Star season and then kind of a disappointment since then, but 21 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds per game in 2022.
Let's get Stu Johnson in here. He's been staring at us for so long.
Yeah, that's fair. Or the ABA, the drop off, the never playing any defense does hurt. Also, I was initially impressed that they make the playoffs in all 3 of his All-Star years. They're below 500 in all 3, and 8 out of the 10 teams of the ABA made the playoffs. So I became a lot less impressed.
Oh, sure.
But hey, near perfect jump shot.
You know, my next guy was actually Antonio Davis. You want to do it?
Can we get Dale? I'm not going to cry over moving Dale over DeAndre Drummond, Joe Barry Carroll.
DeAndre Drummond. We're combining. We're making. Who are these people? DeAndre Ayton and Andre Drummond into one guy.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I'm not gonna cry crocodile tears for those guys.
It's so sad because like DeAndre, I did the fucking same thing. Andre Drummond is like made all NBA teams and all star teams. And it's interesting to think like, were we really so stupid? Was the NBA really so blinded by the rebounding numbers? I think about like, okay, could Andre Drummond be the best player on a title team? Like, no. Could he be the best player on like a conference finals team? It's like, well, probably not. And it's like, okay, like what do I want out of the center position? It's like, well, he has to defend the rim, which Drummond doesn't do. And he can't be a total liability of the free throw line, which Drummond is basically the worst free throw shooter ever. Can you imagine? I think the best thing that ever happened to Andre Drummond is he didn't make deep playoff runs. Like, can you imagine it's the conference finals and it's game 6 and you're trying to play Andre Drummond and they just foul a bunch of times and he shoots 35% from the free throw line?
It's a brutal thought. You know, Dale Davis is certainly a significantly less talented player than Andre Drummond, but like there is a role for him on deep, good playoff teams. What him and Antonio Davis do in Indiana, sure. In the abstract or in a vacuum, it is less than what DeAndre Drummond did for the Pistons.
DeAndre Drummond. Why are we stuck like this? Why can't we get this out of our heads?
It's because it's Andre Drummond and DeAndre Ayton right next to each other on the list, and I'm staring at the names.
Yeah, we're stuck.
But you know, Andre Drummond, we probably should put Drummond above him. Like he was tasked with a much harder role. And actually, if we're going, would you mind if we put Jameer Nelson in here as well?
Yeah. So 459, Jameer Nelson.
Yes.
But I like
just can't write down numbers right.
Is that the Magic look at him and they say, this is our guy. This is our point guard. He is going to run this show for like 9 years. Even after like, post the Dwight seasons, he's just the trusted veteran on that team, responsible for playmaking and running their offense all throughout those years. And it's too bad he gets hurt in 2009. I really feel like if he's healthy, like there's a much different finals. And it's too bad even more that he does come back and is terrible and probably hurts the team because he's trying to play through injury. But
yeah, I appreciate it that though. Like it probably was not the best long-term choice for him to play through it, but like there was something emotional about when he stepped on the court and how that impacted Orlando to try to be better. Yes, he's not good, and by the numbers, he hurts them out there. But I think that emotional appeal of having that leader and having him out there counteracts that to some degree. Also, in what year is this? In 2010, his first taste of the playoffs after being injured, coming back the next year, he averages 23.8 points per game in a sweep of the Charlotte Bobcats. And there is nothing like getting your playoff legs back under you by playing the Charlotte Bobcats.
That is such an insane series. They hack a Dwight the entire time. Let me find that. 2010 versus the Bobcats. So Howard only plays. Oh, is this the right one?
Is that 2010? Is that?
I'm trying to think.
Well, you're looking at
that. Okay, no, I think I think it's they have Tyson Chandler and Theo Radcliffe who are barely playing, and they are just racking up. They're just racking up fouls. Basically a foul per minute for Radcliffe and Chandler. They play 15 minutes a game. Or is that even right? Let me see. So not a foul per minute. I can't. For some reason, I can't get this right in my head. So it's 16 divided by 4. 4 fouls per game at 15 minutes per game, and then Radcliffe is more like 6 fouls per game in 12 minutes a night. It's a ridiculous series. They try to win that by just hacking Dwight over and over again.
Well, didn't work for him.
No. Why did
Uh,
I like Meadowcore so much?
I have no idea. Lamet
I don't
felt.
know.
To be fair, I also wondered why I liked Red Rocha. I just kept looking for it. I kept looking for it, and I was like, his wife's name is Ginger. What else is there? Like, like
Can we
it's
do
it's red and ginger. What? Like that's great. But is there anything else? And I could not for the life of me find something likable. And then there's a little bit about him being a kind of combo starting center or off the bench guy, and being the enforcer for a 50s finals team once. And I was like,
there's something.
that's
There's
something.
something going on. Can we do Ed
Something.
Sadowski?
Yeah, we can talk about Ed. Of course, the famous quote that I brought up last time we did this, probably every time we've brought up Ed, is his first year in the NBA. One of the sports writers said that watching him play reminds me of the first half of Ed's last name. Sad.
He's
He's
first team All BAA in 1948. He should be higher. Can we get him above Nelson? He's third
no.
in points per game twice. What?
It's the thing is that he's a shell of himself, and the BAA is weak.
He's
And
already 31. Yeah, he was so good in
yeah,
the prior to that though.
yeah. Prior to that, during World War II, he's playing for the Fort Wayne Pistons, and they are one of the most dominant teams in basketball. They win the World Professional Basketball Tournament 3 times in a row. And it's him and McDermott, and they're good. Ed was considered the greatest center before Mikan. Then Mikan happens, and we
Were
just
you saying like the greatest center before Mike and isn't ahead of Jameer fucking Nelson?
yeah.
All right, yeah, that's fine. All right, moving on. So Core is going to be
Wait,
dropping.
let me explain that a little bit. It was World War II.
Yeah, the able-bodied men were gone.
Yeah, like it was not that hard to be the best center when basketball was a relatively young sport. You didn't play African American players. You had the vast majority of able-bodied men serving in World War II. Like, and when they come back, he gets surpassed super fast. And part of that's age, but part of that's also just like the talent rises up really quickly post World War II. And so I just don't count anything that went on during World War II.
So that makes sense. My next guy was Mikal Bridges. Do you feel
Yeah,
like he should have won Deepway in 2022? He came
no.
really close to it. Who should have won though? That was the smart year.
Yeah, I don't know. Insert whoever led the league in contested shots at the rim and field goal percentage there. Was it Brooke
So it's Rudy
Lopez that
Gobert.
year?
It's Gobert again. It's
Yeah.
Gobert every year. Okay, let's do Mikal. 33 minutes a night, 556 games consecutively. Um,
Are you at all?
love the
I,
iron. Go ahead.
while we're on Bridges, I think we both thought when we ranked him here that this was going to look silly after this year, that he would figure out a way to rise up. And like we've done a lot of squirrely shit today. Rudy Gay's 3 guys behind him and jumped him. Um, Satch Sanders was a little bit ahead of him and made a big leap, despite the fact that Satch hasn't touched a basketball in decades, at least not on the professional level. I really expected after this year, Bridges would be much higher, and kind of the same DeJounte Murray. Like, I think our expectations were that these guys were going to have good years, and they didn't do it.
Well, DeJounte Murray's Achilles exploded, but I think Bridges, like we kind of
Sure.
nailed exactly like where he was going to be. I think that OG is better than him. I think Brunson's better than him. I think Cat's better than him, and I think it's kind of him and Hart any given night. I like Bridges, but I think him settling in as this is going to be your fourth guy,
See,
and I think you're it.
I would have said he was over OG, or at least in the same conversation as OG. I was like,
It's
you got Brunson
close.
and
That's
Cat tier
close.
1, you got him and OG tier
Yeah,
2, and then
sure.
like Hart tier 3. But I do think you're right. He's been a lot closer to Josh Hart than what I expected from him this year.
The Brooklyn season's so interesting. I mean, it looked like he was going to be Kevin Durant. He was really good, and the Nets were
Yeah.
better than we anticipated. Yeah, I always feel like he would do better in kind of a more free flowing offense, but a lot of times in the playoffs they needed a bucket. The turnaround jumpers on the baseline, those fading mid rangers kind of towards the free throw line. He's able to get it, but I think about him and Rudy Gay. Rudy Gay was cast as the first scoring option on like
Mm-hmm.
on Memphis and Sacramento and in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was like, all right, you need to get 20, and that's our leading scorer. And I think Bridges, like in Phoenix, he's worse than Booker and Paul, and probably less valuable than Aiden even during that run. And then
But in
going elsewhere, it's like,
Brooklyn,
yeah,
yeah, if he kept playing in Brooklyn, he could average 20 points per game for a decade. He just needs to play as long. I think he'll move up. I know it's kind of sad that this is where we got to with him.
yeah, absolutely. Okay. So what did I have? Antonio Davis is next. That's he's been staring at me for so long.
The Davis is duo, dynamic in Indiana for so long together. Or Antonio, Antonio and Dale. I preferred Dale. Did you have Antonio, or where did you end up?
I have Antonio at 463. Well, Dale, I have 477 because we have 17 centers to get through
Mm-hmm.
first. That's such a ridiculous jump we'd be making for that. I don't see it really. I think he's more of like, he's just like a pretty solid center on some pretty good teams. It's nothing really that special. We should do Orlando Woolridge. I think he fits really well in the small forwards conversation. I think he's very similar to Rudy Gay. 16 points a night for 13 years. He's going to get you 20. Your team's not going to be very good.
Mm-hmm.
That's just kind of part of this. Like probably miscast as a lead scoring option, but I mean, it's still very efficient. And he was seen as kind of MJ's Pippen before Pippen, but just didn't really mesh.
Yeah, it's the or him and MJ had similar skill sets, and he was just worse. Pippen has complementary skill sets and was significantly better than Woolridge was. Not better than MJ, but yeah, you think about team building, you're like, oh, we got these two young scoring wings. And it's like, well, maybe you want one wing that scores and one wing that defends. Not that MJ wasn't a defender, but like, you know what I'm saying. So you want him over Davis?
Yeah, I do.
All right, 462. Who it is? Davis. So like the thing is
Which Davis? There's two Davises.
Yeah, Antonio Davis.
Yeah.
Antonio Davis picks up, and the case for him being over Dale is kind of the Toronto years, because in Indiana, Dale is primarily the starter. Antonio is coming off the bench. These guys, you watch Reggie play, and you don't see these guys because these guys are just taking body shots. These guys it's hockey for them. They are out there to check Reggie Miller's defender into the stands as he runs around them again and again and again. And they are just two sides of the same coin. They're there to get the rebounds because Rick Smits has a long jump shot and he's not going to get the boards. So like they're here to dominate the boards, but neither of them really fix the rim that much. And they're here to set massive, hard, soul-crushing screens on whoever is guarding Reggie Miller, while Mark Jackson slowly backs his defender down from half court and tries to find Reggie with the pass. That is Indiana's offense in a nutshell.
I still had what was I gonna say? No, I think Davis is good. Let's put him in. Antonio Davis.
463.
Yeah.
Keeping our numbers lined up.
I did have another center. Chocolate Thunder.
Daryl Dawkins.
Chocolate Thunder, Double D, Dr. Dunk, Sir Slam, Zendokin the Mad Dunker, Dunky very much, Candy Slam, Sweet D, Big Doc, Master of Disaster, Squawkin' Dawkin, Double D Dunk, Sir Dunk Dunkit, Pure Pleasure, Cool Breeze, Dr. Jam, the Demon of Destiny. You know, the usual nicknames, usual slate of nicknames, but plays 14 years, injured for a lot of that, 726 games, but is still the starting center throughout a couple finals runs. for Philly in the early '80s before they get Moses. I mean, he's one of the players kind of shipped out when Moses gets there, and 57% from the field. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I like it. The 1980 finals, 34 minutes per game in the finals, 20 points per 34 minutes, 20 points, 6 rebounds. In the 82 finals, 20 minutes per game, 12 points, and the 77 finals, 18 minutes per game. Like, it's really high level contributions in one finals and then 2 lesser contributions in other finals, but still he is out there. He is playing minutes for really good teams. Could he have bigger numbers on the Pistons of the mid 2000s like Andre Drummond did? Probably, but I like the spot for him.
What if I told you there is a player available with the lowest defensive rating in NBA history?
Lowest isn't good or lowest isn't bad?
As in good.
You're talking to Elmore Smith? You want to bring
No.
up Elmore?
What if I told you there was a player that played 40 minutes per game in a finals and hit, quote, the shot heard around the world?
You're talking about Rick Mahorn?
No, it's Garherd.
Interesting.
40 minutes a night in the 76 finals. He hits in between in the greatest game ever played. It's a bunch of overtimes and there's a bunch of
5
crazy
overtimes.
game-winning shots. Is it 5? No, it's not 5.
I think
it's 3. It's got to be 3.
Get my years mixed up. My greatest games, my insane insanity.
So 3 overtime games. In that game, he has 17 points and 12 rebounds, plays a team high 61 minutes, and hits one of the kind of game-winning, game-tying shots to force some sort of overtime or at the end of regulation. There's so many crazy plays in that game that I get them so mixed up. But
I'm
go ahead.
Just gonna say this. He had 16 points in how many minutes?
61.
How many overtimes? 16 points.
Well,
what's the final score of this game?
It's 126, 128, I believe. Well, I don't even really think there are like crazy high scores.
Yeah,
that's just kind of what looks like. The leading scorer on Phoenix was Westfall and Sobers at 25 apiece, and then JoJo White and the Celtics side with 33. So it's a balanced attack. It's a balance.
That's because everyone fouls out. All right. They're fouling out or they're exhausted.
But he also helps Phoenix make the conference finals in '79. And
speaking of players who helped Phoenix make a conference finals and eventual finals,
DeAndre Ayton?
I think it's time for Ayton.
Wow. You got to give the case. People don't view DeAndre Ayton as a good player, which he isn't anymore. But at one point he was.
So, with things falling apart in Phoenix and the Durant era coming to an end, I mean, hell, by the time this posts, I'll post this Tuesday before draft. I was thinking maybe Durant gets traded before this post, but Durant will still be there. I wonder if we're going to have a little bit of a collective re-looking at Ayton. Because Ayton during that finals run was a big piece of their defense and of stopping Jokic, or no one stops him, but at least being able to single coverage him, slow him down, and help the team do enough to get past that. Ayton was solidly good in that run, and up until the dysfunction in the next year, he was also pretty solidly good. I think there's a lot of head case issues with Ayton. There's a lot of commitment issues with Ayton that are going to prevent him from ever reaching his full potential. But we do have him being a very large piece of a champion or of a finals team in here. I think talent-wise, it's just a higher level than Garherd.
All right, I think I'm in. He has the alley-oop play against the Clippers.
The value, yeah.
Alley-oop.
All right, and then we lock in Garherd at 466. And now I am back to my squirrely ass shit, and I say, how you feeling about Derek Fisher or Shane Battier?
Interesting. Fisher and Battier. I liked Don Nelson more than those guys.
Okay. Nelly, he played for a bunch of those Celtics teams. How many rings is he walking away with? 5, 6?
5 of them.
Yep. 150 playoff games. Just 2 series where he's playing over 30 minutes per game, but he's 1,000 career games played, 900 career true shooting added, 75 career win shares. I got all those numbers written in front of me for a lot of these guys. Not seeing that for much of anyone else. Never averages 30 minutes per game in a regular season. I already say that, so I think that's somewhat important.
The Celtics loved him. They trusted him. Bill Russell trusted Don Nelson in these games, and is a big part of kind of like the second era of Celtics basketball in the 70s.
Fair enough. You win 5 rings for a reason, and that reason is you played with Bill Russell, but you complimented him well.
Okay, I like Battier. Is Terry
I could also do Terry Dissinger.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Let's do him instead.
Yeah, Dissinger. I dropped Kenny Sears to right before Dissinger, or in my initial rankings. So Dissinger is a 3-time All-Star, averages 21 points and 7.5 boards. It's for not very good Pistons teams, or not very good teams. Then he goes to play in the military, and he comes back, and the league has just gotten better. And he's fast, but he's thin. He's too tall, for his speed. So they just don't quite know what to play him as. Shooting guard, small forward. The forwards can out physical him, and he's not quite fast as the guards. It's just kind of awkward when he gets back. Is there something more that you've got on him?
Nate, I think you nailed it.
All right.
I think you've given the Terry Dissinger case better than anyone has ever done in a podcast.
I mean, that's sad. I hope someone gives him more love and respect. Okay, so we're at 469. We need 6 more guys to finish out this list, or finish out what we're trying to do today. And do you like Dale yet? Is Dale your guy?
We're getting so close. We're getting so close to liking him.
I mean,
I'm so positive that Joe Barry Carroll was better, but I feel like him.
Yeah.
I feel like Barry Carroll and Aiden are very similar, where it's like they're very talented and so disappointing. Where Davis, both Antonio and Dale, are probably playing a kind of above their talent levels, and they're just huge and physical. Let's do.
I already wrote in Barry Carroll. It's
well,
Joe
awesome.
Barely Cares, or Joe Barry Carroll. It's a bad joke off of the name. I'm sure the West Brick fans, or people who like the nickname West Brick, would appreciate that. But he's a guy that averaged 20 points per game for 6 years. He makes an All-Star appearance, but it just isn't impactful. It's let me go get. You know what it is? It's a winning time. It's what they portray Kareem Abdul-Jabbar at in the beginning when he first meets Magic, and he's like, "I'm gonna go get my numbers, and like if the team wins or loses, doesn't matter." That is who Joe Barry Carroll actually is, just not as talented.
It's worth noting in '84 they win 37 games, the Warriors do, and then they win 22 in the year he's gone, and then 30, and then when he comes back, they go back up to 42. But for him to like be the top overall pick, be kind of disappointing, never really want to rebound or too much, and then leave, straight up go play Euroball because he just wanted a different contract and hated the NBA. Like he rubbed the entire fan base so wrong. But hey, he comes back, is an All-Star in '87, and 15th in MVP voting. Do you think he should be higher than Aiden?
I feel like him and Andre Drummond and Ayton are all kind of cut from the same cloth.
I'm bumping Aiden. I'm bumping Carroll.
Where are you putting them? Because now I got to shift all these guys around.
466.
466,
And then
which
A
means
467. Hurd 468. Nelson 469. And Dissinger 470.
I think you just added a number in there.
No, I didn't. Who's 465? Let's see.
I don't have a 465.
It's Daryl Dawkins.
He's 464.
Motherfucker, man. 460, Jordan Nelson? No, 459.
That's Sadowski.
461.
461.
Who's
Mikal
450?
Bridges.
Okay, so Doug Christie, Eddie Johnson.
Who do you have as Doug Christie is 451? Did you just start this on 450? Is that what happened?
No, I have that. I have this right. So Johnson, or sorry, Christie 451, then Johnson, then Rudy Gay. Did you put that one down?
Yep.
453. Bob Rule.
Yep. 454.
Jared Allen, then Miles Turner.
Yep. Jared Allen, Miles
Kevin
Turner.
Porter Sr. Yeah.
Not
Drummond. Yeah.
Wait, I want to back up. Kevin Porter is not Kevin Porter Jr.'s father. I don't know if this Kevin Porter is a senior and has a different son named Kevin Porter, but he is not the Kevin Porter Jr.'s father.
That's
different
true.
Kevin Porter.
Okay, so the issue is you have both Stu and Kevin at 457.
I have both Stu and Kevin at 450. Where is... Oh, all right.
So he's 458, and then
459.
Well, actually, then wait a second. No, because I have Drummond at 458. And then Johnson at 459.
I had them both. Okay.
And then Ed
Sadowski
is 460 is Jameer. Yeah, you're moving everything around.
I hate all of this.
And then Sadowski is 461. Bridges is 462. This is your fault for organizing it like this.
This is a nice visual representation to see things until it all goes off the rails.
Where is Bridges is 462, then Woolridge 463. Okay, I think it's
Dawkins 465, Garhard 466.
We had no.
Okay,
no, you had
Garhard
it was
4. Just read me who you got 465 through 470.
Dawkins 465, Joe Barry Carroll 466.
Okay.
Eaton 467, then Hurd 468, Don Nelson 469, then Dissinger 470. Okay, we're all good now.
There we go. Nothing like a little bit of chaos. All right, 5 names left. Dale Davis.
All right, yeah.
Boris Diaw.
Let's do Dale Davis, and then I really kind of like Glenn Combs.
Yeah, I did like Combs. Hell of a shooter.
Yeah, there's a really great video clip of him in just the thickest Southern accent you've ever heard, talking about how he had some party trick at his camps, or he'd make 100 threes in a row or something, or behind his back, whatever it was. But 1970, he's 11th in MVP voting. He makes 3 All-Star teams, wins a title on the Utah Stars, playing 35 minutes a night. I honestly think he probably should be above or right here. Let's do him next.
I think he's right here. We also, since his Powell is close, ABA numbers wise and All Stars, whereas could be in contention for this, but it's the ABA. And as much as I try to appreciate it, we just have to recognize it's not as deep of a league. You're talking about getting 3 All-Star appearances. You're talking about being, one of the 20 best players in a 100-person league.
Mm-hmm.
That's like being a top 100 player today.
Let me see. So I have Cincy. On my scale, Cincy Powell was 12th in 1971 and 12th in 1968. And then Combs, nothing at all. No placements. Too bad.
When's Combs' All-Star appearances though? They're later in the ABA, right?
Nah, it's the same time.
Same time.
Well, Powell is 70, 71, and then Combs is 70, 71, 72. So Combs actually grabs a later one.
Yeah. Still, do we want to put in Powell a little right next to him? I'm at
Yeah,
472. Just pulling him off the board, back on into it. Bounces around a lot in the ABA, but from 68 to 72, averages 18 and a half points per game, 9.2 rebounds. He does decline in 73, but he's also 30 years old. You know, one of those guys that joins the ABA a little bit older.
Mm.
I don't know if he was caught up in the betting scandal, so that could be why he's not in the NBA. That's a perfectly valid excuse. But in the 71 finals, he's kind of the third best player for his era in that series. It's a 7-game series that his team ended up losing. But game 6, plays 45 minutes, drops 31 points, 17 boards. Solid. Do you want to talk more about Glenn Combs other than just the Southern accent?
And the shooting?
And the shooting?
I think I gave a pretty good description. Yeah.
Is he the Kentucky Rifleman? Is that his nickname? Or
fairly certain, yeah.
I wasn't sure if I was getting my ABA guys mixed up. Okay.
Glenn Combs, yeah, the Kentucky Rifle. Well, we have 2 spots left for Nene and Shane Battier.
Don't do this to me. Terry Dischinger was 470, right?
Yes. And then Combs at 471, Powell 472, and Dale Davis at 473.
Oh, thank God. I was like, we're getting Dale Davis off the board. You got to talk to me a lot more if you want Nene on this thing.
I like Nene. He played forever, 17 years.
He did.
He's 30 minutes a night in the playoffs for Denver throughout their 7 playoff runs. He helps Washington to the playoffs a couple of times. Not as interested?
So I guess where I'm at is I really like the idea of Shane Battier. His defense in Memphis years, defense in Miami's years, like that makes up in my mind for some of the statistical limitations. If not him, I like Fisher. Also, great career longevity. The big piece of 5 championship teams, 7 finals runs for Fish, or Avery Johnson, the little general for San Antonio.
I think we should do Red Roca. He's been staring at us for so long. I think we may have forgotten about him. He made 2 All-Star teams. It made the first 2 All-Star teams, so that's something to note. And then does play 34 minutes a night, averaging double-digit points for a title team.
Yeah, he's the enforcer for it.
The enforcer.
Okay. I mean, we just got Dale Davis, the enforcer for the 90s off, and I'm just going to say, if you're an enforcer, the 90s might be a little bit more impressive era to be an enforcer for.
Looks good, man. Yeah, we did it.
Wait, no, we didn't. Who's?
Yes, we did. Because Shane Battier is 475.
Okay, just making that declaration.
Hey, he was your guy. That was your guy. I figured you'd like him.
I mean,
I love Battier.
Battier is good.
Huge finals moments, like 6 threes, and I think in 2013 or 14.
In 2012, he's playing 37 and a half minutes per game in the finals for Miami.
Yeah.
Like,
it's crucial.
Yeah. He was the healthiest member of the Yao T-Mac Rockets that kept winning games when those guys were hurt.
Yeah. Helps Memphis to 50 wins a couple times.
Really? He receives deep boy votes in 6 seasons. Like, Shane Battier was just never blessed to be with the right teammates because, I mean, you were messaging me about wanting to move Bruce Bowen. No. Yeah, Bruce Bowen up even higher, and Michael Cooper, and we talked in the last pod that we're going to split from this one, then about Zach Sanders. Like, Shane Battier's name should be amongst those guys, and it's kind of sad that because Yao and T-Mac were always hurt that he won't get as much recognition because he may be more on those caliber of players.
Yeah.
All right. We
We
did
did
it.
it.
Lord knows what we've done, but we've done it.
I'll read the list. Starting at
Yeah. You tell me where we're starting at.
451. Doug Christie, Eddie Johnson, Rudy Gay, Bob Rule, Jared Allen, Miles Turner, Kevin Porter. I have senior written down. I really think that's there. Andre Drummond, Stu Johnson, 460s, Jameer Nelson. Then Ed Sadowski, Mikhail Bridges, Orlando Woolridge, Antonio Davis, Daryl Dawkins, Joe Barry Carroll, DeAndre Aiden, Gar Hurd, Don Nelson, Terry Dissinger at 470, then Glenn Combs, Cincy Powell, Dale Davis, Shane Battier, and Red Roca. And flip those last two because it's actually Red Roca and then Shane Battier.
Unless you won't flip them. You want Roca higher? We can leave Roca higher.
Yeah, that's what we had, right? Yeah. Okay. All right. We're
right.
locked in. We did it.
I did just want to double check. The Kevin Porter Jr. or the Kevin Porter that we ranked, it does not have senior on his Wikipedia. It does not have it on his basketball reference page.
All right.
He's also no relation to the Kevin Porter Jr.
Yeah.
Because there was an awkwardness where an announcer said that he was a great shooter like his father, and Kevin Porter, this one, was a great shooter, kind of, in the NBA. Kevin Porter Jr.'s father was serving like a prison sentence for shooting someone. Very different terms.
Yikes.
Yes.
Tough stuff.
I do just want to real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Want to look at some of the last guys on each of these lists. So for center, we'll just talk Dale Davis as opposed to Red Roca. Power forward, we'll go Antonio Davis, opposed to Gar Hurd, just be a little bit more modern. Shane Battier, Doug Christie, and Jameer Nelson. How many wins is that team getting? That's starting five. Defensive masterpiece.
Yeah, pretty good defensively, Davis and Christie. Who is the starting small forward again? Oh, Battier.
Shane Battier. Yeah.
Man.
I don't know if
I don't know. Like a scrappy 35 if they really go on.
That's what we're getting at this point. And with the top 475, a scrappy 35 win team. Well, Aaron, where can people find you?
Possible Chairs on TikTok, Possible Chairs on Twitter, Possible Chairs on Patreon. You can find this list, my cameo, and this podcast next week when we finish the top 50, top 500.
It's bold. It's bold. It might not happen till 4th of July week, but we will figure out a time to make this happen. You can find me, Nate_Hoops Temple on TikTok. You can email the show, hoopstemple@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening.